Welcome to our 6-step home buying process video. This is going to be kind of a guide that lays out the steps in the home buying process so that you can feel confident throughout each step. And I just want to say thank you for choosing me to represent you. First things first, we have our pre-approval. So let's dive on in. If you're going to be getting a mortgage on this home, a pre-approval will be required before we are able to tour homes, and that will go along with any offers we put in on a home. So some of the fees that will be included are down payment, closing costs. If you reach out to multiple lenders within a 45-day period, it only counts as one hard pull on your credit. So I highly recommend reaching out to multiple, as each lender has different options they can offer, different loan products, interest rates. So I would recommend shopping around with at least 3. And if you need recommendations, I can definitely get them to you as well. So we're unable to submit an offer without a pre-approval. So that is why this is the first step in the process. Listed below are some documents that will be requested from you for the pre-approval: W-2 forms, pay stubs, income tax returns, bank statements. So there are some things I want to point out to avoid during the process as well. For instance, don't make any major purchases that could affect your debt to income ratio. Don't apply, co-sign, or add any new credit accounts. Don't quit or change jobs or banks. And don't close any credit accounts without first chatting with your lender. And also don't purchase any of your high-priced items until after closing, so things like washer, dryer, furniture, etc. Next up, we get to start touring homes. So after we chat about what you're looking for, I will personally go out and start searching for homes fitting that criteria. You're welcome to do your own browsing as well and send them my way. So if you could see yourself really enjoying one of these homes at fitting your needs, feel free to send me the address and then we can schedule a tour. I can show you any home that's listed on the market, despite who listed it, if it's for sale by owner, anybody. We know that there are a lot of home security systems, so I always recommend moving around the home like you're being recorded. This means not mentioning things that you love, loving the home so much. These are things that can wait till after, when we're more curbside, that you can share with me. In the home, it makes our negotiating power less strong when we are letting them know that we love the home. So always act like you're being recorded. So while we're touring homes, one of the biggest things that I'm looking for are things like the age of the windows, any water leaking, basement foundation condition, etc. So I will point those out during as well. When we finally find that home that fits your needs, checks the boxes, is within your budget, we'll be making an offer. So this is the part I want you to pay the most attention to, because when we go to make the offer, we don't always have the time to go through step by step. So 1 will be the offer price. I will go through and pull similar homes and what they've sold for recently to gather an offer price that best fits the market so that you're not overpaying for a home. The next thing we'll discuss is earnest money. This is typically about 1% of the purchase price we give upfront with the offer, stating that we're serious about the home. Earnest money is something similar to a good faith deposit, saying we love the home, we would like you to take it off of the market and mark it as pending. We will lose this money if you decide for some reason that you just don't want the home. So there are exceptions. If we cannot come to an agreement on inspection, an appraisal, etc., you are entitled to your earnest money back, but it is never guaranteed. So I always say, before we make an offer, make sure that you love the home. Earnest money will go toward your down payment or closing costs at closing, so you will get that money back. It is held in an escrow account during the process. The next thing we'll discuss is the closing and possession date. So this is what fits your needs depending on your situation. This is typically 30 to 45 days from start to finish. To continue, we will discuss how much in closing costs you will be paying. This will come from your lender. They have their set amount. We have the option to ask the sellers to cover all or a portion of your closing costs. so that can be negotiated in the contract as well. Another thing is a home warranty. These range anywhere from $500 to $700 plus dollars. This is a 1 year plan that will help cover appliances, mechanicals, if something were to go wrong. Something I must note is that the purchase agreement that we send over, is a legally binding contract as soon as all parties have signed. So just keep that in mind as well. So now the sellers accepted our offer. We have an inspection period between 7 to 10 business days to hire an inspection company to come in and do a thorough inspection of the home. At the end, you will receive a report with the issues of the home and maintenance repairs. This is not to be shared with your lender. This could cause issues. So keep that for yourself, and we can then negotiate what items we would like to have remedied from the seller. We're primarily looking for any major health or safety issues that are discovered during this inspection. And you will pay for the inspection company at the time of service. So I would prepare to pay anywhere from $400 to $800, depending. So once we have the inspection report back, we will sit down and go through the items that you would like to have requested, and then I will combine that and put that into an addendum and send that over to the seller with our requests. So at this point, the seller has the option to agree to any, all, or none of the requests that we've made. From there, we can negotiate further if necessary. Otherwise, you do have the option to back out and the contract will become null and void, and you have the right to your earnest money. Some optional inspection add-ons that I recommend on occasion are sewer line camera scopes, just to determine the condition of your sewer line. A radon gas test. Here in Iowa, we have one of the highest levels of radon, so you can get a test that will determine what the current level of radon is in the home. And if the home was built prior to 1978, you have a higher chance of lead-based paint being present in the home, so a lead-based paint test is also an option. Once we can agree on our inspection items with the seller, there's a period of time where it's a little silent, and this is usually during the appraisal period. So if you're getting a mortgage, the bank will hire a qualified appraiser to complete an unbiased appraisal. This appraisal will ensure that the bank is not lending more than the home is actually worth. A qualified appraiser will evaluate the property's appraisal value by noting these key factors, so recent sales of properties, current market trends, the home's amenities, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage, etc. If the appraisal comes in at or above the contract price, the transaction proceeds as planned. If the appraisal happens to come in lower than the price that we offered, we will have to get back with the sellers and negotiate in an effort to keep the transaction together. So once we have gone through the other steps, we are on our way to closing. So 1 to 3 days prior to our closing date, you and myself will go into the home and we'll make sure that they have repaired any of the agreed upon inspection items, make sure everything that we agreed to have stay in the home is still in the home, make sure there's not been any damage done or any changes to the property since putting in the offer and having it accepted. The day of closing, we will be going to the designated settlement company that will host the closing, where we'll sign all of your documentation. It'll be you, myself, the closing company, sometimes the lender present at the closing. So you don't usually ever meet the sellers during this process. And finally, that is when you will receive the keys to your new home. There are some frequently asked questions that I get, so I just put them in here. We could chat through them. So how much do my services cost? So there will be a commission paid to both sides of the transaction, the listing side, the buying side. And the breakdown pays the brokers, and then the brokers pay the agents, myself and the selling agent. And I get paid once the home closes and you have your keys in hand, and not any time before that. My job in the home buying process is to search for your home, schedule the tours, and open homes up for you to view during our home search. I also write and negotiate the deals on your behalf, and I also follow the process, and I work with the closing attorneys, the settlement companies, to make sure that everything is flowing smoothly. How many homes should I tour before writing an offer? So, depending on the market, we may have to see more or fewer homes. So, on average, about 5 to 8 homes is what I see before we put in an offer and have it accepted. Can I visit open houses during my home search? Absolutely. Highly recommend it. Feel free to go. When you go in, you just let the other agent know, yep, you're working with Ellie Price, and I'm just here to view the home, and then they can follow up with me if they have any feedback. How much money do I need to put down to buy a home? This is a huge misconception. We used to think it would be 20% because it used to be 20%. However, now we have a lot of different options. The average right now is about 3 to 5%, depending on your loan type. Again, the whole process from start to finish is about 30 to 45 days once we have identified the home that we want to purchase. And again, I can show you any home that's on the market. This includes for sale by owner homes as well. So I hope this helped kind of guide you and you feel more confident in the process. I am one phone call or text away from any questions that you may have. So here's to our next journey. So I'm looking forward to supporting you and being with you while we tour these homes. So be well.